So you've decided to build something and you want to do it yourself, which I think's a great idea. You can save money, maybe get it done when there's no one else that you can hire to do it, but you're gonna need some tools.
Whether this thing you want to build is a shed for extra storage, or maybe a garage or an addition on your house, or if you want to build an entire house from scratch, you are going to need at least these 5 tools, of which you can build almost anything that I just listed.
But in our opinion, if you're missing even one of these 5 necessary tools, building just about anything would be nearly impossible.
You know, I don't think they had these tools whenever they built the pyramids. Machu Picchu, Great Wall of China, the Colosseum, Chichen Itza.
Okay. So we made this list assuming that you already have a tool belt with the 5 basic hand tools in that tool belt for kind of any common project. And we'll take a look at that real fast if you don't know what that is.
We've got Eric suited up now. Looks like he's ready to go to work, doesn't he? And you could look just like this too. All right, these 5 tools are going to seem obvious to people who already work in construction, but if you're just a homeowner, you may not know. So let's start with the number 1 most obvious, the hammer. Who's going to build something without a hammer? All right, the tape measure. It's going to be very critical. You're going to need that. And to mark your measurements, you're going to need a pencil. We're calling the pencil a tool.
It is.
Okay, so there's one. Next, we have the speed square, and that's for marking lines across your boards to make cuts and things. And last, the humble chalk line, which is simply string and dust.
So this is not a tool belt video, but I feel like I gotta sprinkle a few extras in. If you already have those basic tools, you could add a chisel, a cat's paw, and a torpedo level and be real happy about it. With that out of the way, we're gonna get into our list of the 5 necessary tools you would need. And just like a house, we're gonna start with the foundation. Our first tool is a laser level.
As Eric stated, the laser level is super important to get your foundation level. And if you didn't know, that is of highest importance when you're building something. Here are 2 different kinds, the rotary laser and a very simple homeowner version of a line laser.
So which one of these should you buy? That's the real question. Well, it depends on what you're doing. The rotary laser relies on a reader. It reads the laser beam up and down, tells you when this point is level with the laser line. And the main thing with this is it'll go a really long distance. This one I think will go 1,000 feet. So if you're gonna do a large structure and you need to get it level, this is the way to go. The line laser, on the other hand, if you're building a small structure, is far less expensive. This is probably 10 times the money, but it'll go 10 times as far. This relies on optics, so this does not work great in bright sunlight. Like you can't visibly see the laser line over the brightness of the sun, whereas this will work in bright sunlight. So I would say if you're gonna build a small project, like 20 feet or less, this would be all you need. If you're going 20 feet or more, I'd consider maybe getting a rotary.
While we use the rotary laser for almost all of our heavy duty construction type things, this little tiny line laser is so handy in all kinds of interior applications like setting tile, hanging pictures, even doing closet shelving, lots of things, anything where you need a straight and level line. It shows up really great inside, and these are probably only about $100, super affordable.
Diving just a little deeper here, both of these levels have auto leveling. That means if you set them down on a relatively level surface, say within about 5 degrees, the head in this will rotate to perfectly level automatically, and this sort of swings on a pendulum, so it levels automatically as well. But with this one, you can also go in a lock mode, and you can throw a line that is out of level on purpose, which is handy for doing a couple different things. Sorry about that, camera guy.
Laser in the face. Don't look at the lasers.
Yeah, don't look at lasers, pro tip.
Hey, you remember that time where we did tile in a whole bathroom and then realized after it was done that it was in the lock mode and not self-level mode and everything was crooked?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
We had to tear it all out.
Yeah.
And redo it. Let's see. Oh. I don't know how this opens. What? Yeah.
A little history here. These modern laser levels are a replacement in a lot of applications for an old school sight level. Jamie's got a really cool old one I didn't even know he had here. And the problem with these is that you have to manually level them. You can see the bubble level here. So if you don't do that accurately, or if you bump it, The instrument could become uncalibrated while you're using it, and if you didn't check, you wouldn't know. You could build something really bad really quick. I've also done that. Moving on here, you've got your foundation in. It's level thanks to your laser level. It's time to cut some boards, which brings us to our next tool that you're going to need, a circular saw.
You know, the circular saw ended up being a lot better than the non-circular saw.
Cut.
The circular saw is really a marvel in itself. I can't believe somebody invented such an amazing tool. You could cut every piece of wood to build an entire house with this one type of saw, framing and finished work, and I know that because I've done it.
So these are mainly for cross-cutting boards. That means cutting the end off of one. But like Jamie mentioned, you can do everything with one. That's why it's on the list. And there's a ton of options out there for these. Which one should you get?
Let's break it down just a little bit more. Almost every power tool is going to come in two flavors. The old school electric plug-in, as in a cord plugged into the outlet, or battery powered. You like that long cable, huh? I put that on there myself.
I'm gonna go right off the cuff here and say I would get a battery powered tool because I hate dealing with power cords. They get wrapped around your ladder legs, they get wrapped around your offcuts. You can't move around a job site without a power cord, but these cost a lot more money and the batteries do drain. So you'll need multiple batteries if you wanna run one of these all day, whereas you can just plug this in and run it nonstop all day without stopping. If you decide to go the battery route, there is a decision that needs to be made, and that's which platform are you gonna go with. This is a Milwaukee, that's what I'm using right now, but there's also other great brands like DeWalt, Makita, and from my experience, they all perform pretty much as well. The batteries seem to last pretty much the same, and they are a similar cost, but you just gotta pick your poison, and you're gonna dump a lot of money once you start going down this rabbit hole. So just make sure you love the color of it, at least.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
It's really hard to talk about a circular saw and what I would recommend about it without going into all the details. We can't do that. All right, here's what you need to know. There are 6.5-inch blades, which is a small one, and a 7 1/4, which is kind of the industry standard. You can cut a little bit thicker material with a 7 1/4 blade. That might be a benefit if you're building something out of rough lumber that's thick. But if you're just cutting like 2x4s and maybe some 1/2-inch sheathing, the 6.5-inch blade is excellent and it's lighter weight and the whole saw will be smaller.
And one more thing you're gonna see if you go to buy a circular saw is that they come in left blade and right blade. And which is right for you, I don't know the answer to that. I find they're both good for different things. With the left blade, you're gonna get more of that dust thrown in your face, but you can see the cut better if you're right-handed and you're cutting right-handed. But also if you're right-handed, the right-bladed saw is awesome because generally it's not gonna sit on the offcut as you're cross-cutting a board. So the offcut will fall away and the base will stay nice and flat on the piece you're keeping.
I don't know why, but almost always the 6.5-inch blade saws have the blade on the left.
Yeah.
And the 7 1/4, even the battery ones,
Mostly
will be
it's right.
on the right. So I don't know why that is. Sometimes it's handy to have one of each. The feature on these circular saws that makes it so versatile is that the base plate can tilt, allowing you to cut bevel cuts of every angle from 0 to 45 and sometimes beyond 45 degrees. Remember that time we hired a left-handed carpenter though?
No, is this a joke?
No, it's real. Philip, remember?
Oh yeah,
Philip,
okay.
Philip Reed. Yeah, he was left-handed and he had to use the left-handed saw.
Here at the Perkins house, my days get going with AG1. They're today's video sponsor. If you don't know about it, they're a daily foundational nutrition supplement. That's a mouthful, but what that means is you can get 75 vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, and whole food source superfoods all in one little scoop that you mix with water. I take it in the morning on an empty stomach, and especially if you're not the type of person that likes to eat a heap of greens every day, it's a great way to get extra nutrition in your diet without a whole lot of hassle. It's quick and easy, and even though it's green, it does not taste like a heap of greens. It has a semi-sweet taste, very palatable. I mix it extra strong actually, like half the water that they recommend, and I love it. I do feel like I get extra energy from using AG1, but the real magic here is the gut health. And if you didn't know, your gut is what processes all the nutrients and gets that into your body from your food. So if your gut is not healthy, performing top notch, you don't actually get the nutrients from your food as well. And AG1 is a great way to get your gut health boosted. It has probiotics. And I feel like AG1 has really improved my overall just feel of energy since I've been using it. AG1 has been an awesome morning routine for me. I love it, and if you want to check it out, just click the link down in our video description or scan the QR code up here on the screen. You can get $20 off with your subscription or $49 off a double subscription, plus 5 free travel packs and a bottle of vitamin D3K2 that comes in a little dropper. I use that as well. Thank you again to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to work.
You've got your foundation built and it's nice and level thanks to your laser level. You've got your boards measured and cut thanks to your amazing circular saw. What's next?
Well, I guess you need to nail them together. That brings us to tool number 3 on our list, the framing nailer. A framing nailer is going to allow you to nail boards together probably 20 times faster than a hammer and a nail, and also less expensive than using screws. Nails cost less.
When you go out shopping for a nail gun, you're going to notice quickly there are 2 different categories, the air-powered or pneumatic, or the battery or fuel-powered ones. I'll tell you right away, the one that we use all day, every day, is this one right here, the pass load. Now, I do keep a backup nail gun in the truck, but I don't always have an air compressor with me, even if I have my gun, so that doesn't really make sense, does it?
When it comes to price, it's a little trickier here because the pneumatic nail gun is going to need an air compressor and air lines to go with it. Sometimes those freeze in the cold. That's one other thing that's not as good with the pneumatic. They don't work in really cold weather as well. Whereas this is a standalone, so the cost of the tool plus whatever fuel or battery it needs is the total cost. And again, on this one, I'm gonna go highly recommending the battery or fuel powered because you don't have to drag an air line. And on a job site, it's not like you're in one place, just nailing things, but you're moving all around all the time and just having the freedom to go anywhere without anything attached to you. This is really nice. I think a lot of people in this category are moving towards the battery powered these days, and I would recommend it. I love it. But if you're gonna look for a battery powered one, do your homework and we'll help you out here, of course. Every brand that I know of, like Passload, DeWalt, Milwaukee, has a different design for their nail gun than each other, and they're like wildly different.
We're gonna use 3 examples for this to explain the differences. This Passload, which is our favorite cordless nail gun, uses a battery and a fuel cell. These are, I don't know, about $12 each, and we use several of them a day. So that is a consumable cost that you have to deal with this gun. Yep. But what do we like about it?
It's super light, and by far the lightest gun. So if you're using it all day, every day, and you just don't want to get worn out, this is great. Again, the downer is the consumable fuel cost. The second one we've used is the DeWalt. Not extremely heavy, not the heaviest, but it does have the problem, I think, of jamming more often than it should, and we've had that experience.
Yes.
So it can be a little frustrating if you got to unjam nails from your nail gun on a regular basis.
In its favor, though, I will say it packs a punch.
It is powerful.
It has a totally different internal design. It's more like a flywheel spinning in there that never loses momentum and just really can drive nails through hard material.
And the last one we have a lot of experience with is the Milwaukee. It's been very reliable, very powerful. The one downer, though, and why I don't use it every day, is it is by far, I think, the heaviest out of all of them. So if you're nailing overhead or just nailing all day long, it can wear you out. So there's trade-offs with every choice here, but one other thing you're gonna notice is the capacity for your clips and nails is way bigger here. You can fit 2 full clips plus, and on the cordless, it's only 1 full clip plus, which makes this way more maneuverable, but also you gotta reload more often. So it just depends on what you're looking for when you choose which one to buy. Okay, you've got your foundation in. It's nice and level because of the laser level. You've got all your boards cut to length, perfect, nice and square, thanks to your circular saw. Now it's all nailed together in a wall laying flat on the floor. Thanks to your nail gun, it was super easy. That brings us to our next item on the list, a super simple one, the 4-foot bubble level.
If it isn't obvious to you what the purpose of the bubble level is, let me tell you. It's primarily for standing up vertical and to make your walls or posts of your structure be plumb or vertical. Now you can also use it horizontally and that's great, but not for long distances. That's where the laser level shines. While this type of level comes in all sorts of different lengths, from a foot long all the way over 12 feet long, which by the way, I would love to have one of those, and I don't have one. This 4-foot length, I think, is the best multi-use length. It's long enough to span over little gaps or imperfections in your material, which would throw off a shorter level, but it's also short enough to be handy in climbing up and down ladders and carrying around with you without being super long.
If you go out and just buy the 4-foot level, one trick that we've done over the years to extend the length and therefore extending the accuracy of it is to literally just tape a really long straight board to one edge of this, and then you can turn this into like a 10-foot level if you need it, and that'll work pretty well. You may notice a huge price difference if you're out shopping for these. They range anywhere from probably $30 to I bet $300 on the top end, which is like a 10 times cost difference. And what I'll say is you usually pay for what you get in one of these. The more expensive one is going to be more durable, more accurate. But if you're just doing one project and then you're done, don't go spend $300. You can get one for probably $50 to $70 that's going to be pretty darn good.
I like to pick one that has a large bubble that's nice and easy to read. This one is really awesome.
This is the level I carry around in the back of my car because it fits. It's only 4 feet, and it has a feature I've never really seen on levels before. Has this mirror that shows you what the bubble right here is reading, but from the edge of the level. I don't use it a ton, but I just thought it was super cool. I wish there was more we could say about the level because of its level of importance. It's so high on a building project. You could not build anything without this, but I think that's all there is to say.
Now you've got your super level foundation, thanks to your laser level.
Check.
You've got all of your boards cut, thanks to the invention of the amazing circular saw.
Check.
You've even got them nailed together with your awesome new framing nailer.
Check.
And you have stood your wall up and plumbed it with your 4-foot level.
Check. Now you're gonna want a way to brace that wall plumb, and the best way we found is to use a framing screw. And to put that in, you're gonna need a good drill driver set like we've got set right here. So we like to use screws on the bracing like I mentioned because you can take the screws out when you're done with the brace, reuse them easily, or you can make adjustments easily. Say you brace your wall, it wasn't perfectly plumb, well you can just run the screw out, make a fine adjustment, run it back in without having to mess with beating it off with a hammer if you've nailed it. Makes things super fast. In fact, we screw a lot of things around the job site, like trusses in case we get the layout off. You can adjust them easily. It's not a Sawzall or a sledgehammer to get things pulled apart. So what I'm saying is a drill is really important. We've got 2 types here.
For the most usefulness, I recommend getting a drill driver combo, which they come in every brand and every color. This is the drill that uses a clutch, and you can take out standard drill bits that have a smooth shank, and you're gonna need that for sure. Look for one if you can that has a hammer drill setting that allows you to use a carbide bit and drill concrete. And who doesn't want to be able to do that? The driver, on the other hand, has a quick release mechanism, and it holds a hexagon shaped shank right there for most of your driver bits. A T25 is what we use almost every day. It also has an impact feature, which helps you to drive screws in or out without so much torque on your arm and your hand, and also without spinning or stripping out the bit as frequently.
They work great.
It's an amazing tool.
In the drill category, there are corded drills that exist, and we're not going to even compare them because it's not even an option in my eyes. These have plenty of power to do everything, anything you need. Everything. They really do. If you're out shopping for one though, and you want to get a better one, you could look for a metal chuck on the drill instead of plastic. And on the impact, you can look for ones that have multiple settings as far as the torque and the speed go. On this one here, it has 3 different speed options and then another option for doing like metal on metal threaded bolts, which is nice.
The battery-powered drill and driver is last on our list because really you could build a house without it.
We have.
I hate to say that, but
Lots of them.
we built for years without having battery-powered drills, but they are so convenient, so affordable now, and so powerful, I think you'd be crazy not to have one on your hip and your tool belt like we do every day.
Last thought here, if you're gonna buy yourself a cordless impact or drill, the battery size does matter. Of course, these smaller batteries are gonna be more lightweight, which is nice if you're carrying them around. But if you jump up to like an 8 amp hour battery instead of this, I believe it's a 2 amp hour on here, you're gonna get more power out of this same drill. And that's just something to note if you're doing something really heavy duty. It's nice to have that big brick of a battery to slide on there and just get it done. That's a wrap on our list of the top 5 tools that you need to build any kind of building project. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below of your favorite tool or brand and why. If it can help someone out, please keep it nice. And thanks for building with us today. We'll see you on the next one. Do you write your initials on every tool you own?
I do, multiple times actually. There's my name, there's my name, there's my name, there's my name, there's my name.
What are
both
you
sides.
afraid of?
Anywhere you look at this tool, you're gonna see my name on it. Oh, I did it. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can see it. Look, when more than one person uses the same brand on the same job, it better have your name on it.